That was great.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
I definitely felt a lot more tense than I thought I would, but it was fun.
Welcome to the Front Porch with Brian Beaudry.
So I'd like to welcome today's guest, one of our implementation specialists, Brian Garcia, to the porch.
Hey, nice to be here.
Good.
Finally.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to start and just have all of the Brians on at the beginning, so I had
Am I the
to
first?
space it out a little bit. No, Brian Duggar's been on.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
It was one of those things where, there's only so many people at the office, and I was scrambling to get you, and it's like, Brian, you're here. Let's go.
B-Doug is reliable. He's always here,
Yeah.
I think.
That is true. Okay, let's start with the basics. So who are you? Wait, I forgot to throw in where you're from, and what answers are you searching for?
Well, I'm a North Texas native. I'm from Granbury, Texas, which is about now anywhere from an hour to 2 hour commute from here. So that's where I'm from. What answers am I searching for? How to be better today than I was yesterday.
Okay, that one's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Are you from Granbury now?
I moved back 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago.
Because I had talked with Woody on a recent podcast, and I think he said he was from Granbury.
Yes.
And wait, are you part of his garage band?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
No. He can't afford me.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know if maybe we can get a connection here and we can have a point of rental garage band.
I think that would be a lot of fun, but no. I do know Woody from before Point of Rental Life, though.
Oh,
so it's nice to have him on the team.
Okay. Well, let's maybe get back into that later on, but
Sure.
We'll start with our traditional opening of what did you want to be when you were a kid, whenever you remember first having an answer to that question that everyone asks. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I wanted to be a secret agent.
Okay.
I loved the movie Mission Impossible, but obviously not the original. I think I was 6 years old when Tom Cruise came out with that first one in the series, and I was also not very good at math, and I was like, secret agents don't really need math, right? I could do that.
I guess it depends on the secret agent level. There's a whole different genre of secret agent styles.
I had long hair,
The long hair is important for like the cool look of an agent, but it's also kind of dangerous because you don't want to be grabbed by your hair. It seems it's kind of like a cape situation.
Yeah, no capes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at what point did you decide maybe that's kind of a silly kid thing to do, and I don't want to become a secret agent? Or are you a secret agent?
Well, can't answer that, but yeah, no, I would say probably junior year of high school. I started really considering, okay, what do I want to do for money? And I was not in JROTC or anything like that. I didn't really have any interest in. At that time, I didn't have any interest really going into the military or anything like that. So that was probably around the time where I realized I was more of an academic than anything else.
Yeah, I was going to say getting shouted at like most of the time doesn't sound like a real good time for most anyone.
Yeah.
So
and then I realized Tom Cruise isn't actually a secret agent. He just plays one. So
you think?
Yeah.
You think? But maybe that's the best disguise is being an actor.
Another podcast for another day.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe someday I'll get Tom Cruise on here, or Tom Cruise will become a point of rental employee. Okay, so what happened in like junior year? Obviously, you realized that's not the way to go, and you said you decided to get into academics. So
yeah, more specifically writing.
Okay.
I took a lot of AP English courses, and that's just what I naturally gravitated to. I loved reading and writing growing up a whole lot, and I realized I'm decent at writing. I can write papers. I can maybe write a book someday, but
I can write. I can put these words together.
Sure. I don't have to go running all the time.
Did you have a particular genre that you would say that you fit into, or are you just kind of exploring things?
Research. Like,
okay.
If we're talking about writing, I loved anything that was just oriented around researching a topic and writing about it.
Okay. And like, do you have an example of the types of topics, just general stuff or?
General stuff. When I went to college, and we'll probably talk about it in one of your other questions, I did start off with a comm studies major.
Okay.
And
Was that like what I know the stereotype of commerce majors is like when you can't figure out what you actually want to do, then it's like, it's a thing.
yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
Okay.
But it was interesting and very rigorous, at least for University of North Texas where I attended. Apparently it's a lot more rigorous than any other university. And my niche for writing or research at that time was just the evangelical community and the movement in America from, I don't know, probably like the 60s or 70s to now.
Okay. That is a much more specific thing than
Yes. They pushed us to get as specific as possible.
yeah, it's real difficult to write a thing covering like the entire history of the world. It's like, okay, this book is going to be too long for anyone to ever read. Okay, so again, it seems like LinkedIn was not lying to me, and you do have a journalism and communications background and also an HR certificate. And it's kind of weird that we're both Brians and we both have all of that in common. I know why I made those choices. Why did you make those choices? Because I know journalism classes in college, they were like, this field is dead. You should probably stop.
Yeah. Well, so I was a college dropout, and when I went back, I did have certain credits, and I was like, well, I can still use these credits. They're not dead yet. But I knew I didn't want to pursue comm studies, at least at that school, because it was intense. I knew I would not be able to finish, and at the pace I wanted to finish. So that's the reason you see journalism in there as well, because, again, just that love of writing and research applies to that field.
Yeah.
And I was able to get through some of those courses really quickly, and I was able to get through some advanced Spanish courses as well. So I got kind of a hybrid degree. And then HR, honestly, I think that was just an elective. And again, another credit to get through the degree. And I thought I would be able to break into HR at some point, but I don't think that was my calling either. I think that certificate on LinkedIn was like conflict management, if I remember correctly.
Has that ever come in handy? Are you regularly?
It comes in handy at home.
Okay. Are you working on like
mainly on myself? Yeah, I gotta manage my own conflict.
That's fair. I can relate. That would be. It is good to have some of that training to lean back on instead of being like,
yeah.
But other than that, it looks like you tried out Actually, no, I do want to circle back around to it. So I also dropped out of college and then later decided that I wanted to. No, I need to do this.
Yeah.
So what happened as far as like your journey is like, why'd you drop out the first time?
Yeah. So honestly, I think I was just very immature. That first go around coming out of high school, no real sense of direction. And, did some odd jobs here and there. Not really odd jobs, but careers that I thought would pan out and didn't.
Yep.
And realizing, okay, well, this is something I started. It's something I need to finish. And it just so happened I was at a point in my life where I didn't have any real responsibilities. I had plenty of margin to make that my focus. And I had a good support system too.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, that is a real blessing. It's like when you go from I don't know what I want to do, but at least I do have the ability to change my mind instead of being like locked into something.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you had a lot of odd jobs. What's like the oddest job or I don't know, tell me some good random Joe job stories.
Yeah. Well, I was in the medical field for a little bit. I was a certified nursing assistant. Didn't really put it into practice. It was more of having that certificate, but also being utilized as an interpreter at some points, and then kind of acting as a liaison between the home health company that I was working for and then different senior communities that we were involved with. So that was probably one of the oddest ones.
Sounds like you're addicted to certificates. I'm just gonna say it's like, you know what? Let me
I gotta
just
have
in
my
case I want to
fix.
get into this.
Yeah, it's a good buzz.
I think it's part of the secret agent thing. Like those secret agents, they have to have a little bit of a
You have
background
to
in
know a
everything.
lot about everything.
Yeah.
And there's a high demand in the retirement communities for secret agents. So.
Yeah. And also, Tom Cruise is getting up there. So, you can do secret agenting for a while.
Yeah, exactly. But there was that. Worked for a boutique furniture store.
Okay.
Did work as a sales associate there. Deliveries. That was probably the most fun one. Trying to think of.
So you're the person that's putting these heavy things on trucks and
Yeah,
taking
sometimes
them
by
off.
myself.
That seems less pleasant.
Yeah, very stressful because furniture is not cheap.
I was going to say, when you say
realize.
boutique, it's like, okay, that's going to be more expensive.
Yes, very expensive. And very breakable.
And it turns out that when people spend a lot of money on a thing,
yeah,
they want you to not break
they
it.
expect it in one piece.
Yeah. But it's so much easier to fit through the door if it's in all
That's
pieces.
right. Those are probably like two extreme ends of the spectrum: is being in the medical field in that capacity, and then also working in, I guess what you call retail. And then on the more technical side, I did work for one of my home church's satellite campuses as a technical director for a few years, and that was a lot of fun. But that was more part time.
Yeah. So this is all the stuff that you're doing kind of through college, because I think that you said that your first job out of college is point of rental, or am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, yes. After I went back and finished my degree, point of rental was my first stop.
Okay. So how did you find point of rental?
Lathan Andrews, our
Just talk to you, or
well, he was actually living in Granbury as well.
Okay.
That's how we got to know each other, and a few years later, after we met, we stayed close friends, and he became the talent manager, the January before I was hired on.
Okay.
So the following summer, and he just kept me in mind, knew that I was about to finish up, and was able to get me in the door.
All right. So I remember, I'm pretty sure you came through here starting in support. Was that
Yes.
correct? And like, what kind of preparation had your previous jobs given you for that role?
I would say the tenacity to research something and not give up. Uh, I didn't have a lot of industry knowledge and definitely not a lot of product knowledge. And coming into support, you do get prepared to some extent, but once you're out there, actually fielding those calls, you have to be able to look things up on the fly very quickly and basically not give up to get whatever issue it is resolved or get whatever question is in front of you answered.
Yeah, I can see it being difficult to train someone for every single possible error that could possibly happen with hundreds of thousands of people using it. You moved at some point from support to implementation. Is that a career path in support, or is that like why'd you switch basically?
So two main reasons. One big reason, people I trust were encouraging me to get into that department, and another one, just the opportunity was open. It was open 1 year. I would say 2 years ago probably, and I was encouraged, but I was very hesitant. Didn't really believe in myself at that point, and then a year ago, the opportunity became open again, and those same people that I trust a whole bunch said, "You need to go for it." And so I said, "Well, I trust you. I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens."
Is it going well?
It's going very well.
You still trust those people?
I do, yeah. I do, very much so.
All right, good. I like that, you have this also recurring theme of like second chances. It's like, first time I went to college, didn't work out so well. First time I was going for this, I was like, nah.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that's very true.
But you do have that stick-to-itiveness. It's like, I'm going to be around for that second try though. All right, I like it. So what's the biggest difference between the two roles, support and implementation?
Mm-hmm. I think the level of influence with our clients, our customers, it's definitely not to the level of a consultant. They carry a lot of influence, but with implementation, it it's very much a teaching role. I would hope any good teacher has a good amount of influence on you, and that's what I hope to be for my customers is bringing that knowledge of the product to say this is what it's supposed to do by design, and having that. I guess one of the differences between this role and support is you have more time in front of the customer to really build that rapport where they can trust you and take your advice.
I know that you're usually a part of the international conferences. Were you an implementation specialist before last year's international conference?
No, I've only attended the last two.
Okay.
The first one I attended as a support rep in the Genius Bar, and that was a lot of fun. And I think that was another small factor of why I moved, because I did enjoy that aspect of the one-on-one with the clients. And then the last year was my first one as a trainer.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering that because I know that in the past I've seen at a lot of the conferences, people will always ask to see their trainer. It seems like there's like this weird special bond type thing of like, this person is my favorite person like ever because they were the person who was there whenever I was learning it. So I was wondering if you had that experience yet, or if, someone's run into you and be like, oh,
no one's imprinted on me yet.
okay, well, we'll see if that happens this next international conference. We'll see if anyone's like, dude, is Brian Garcia here? Because I want to see him.
That's a lot of pressure, man. Don't put that on me.
Well, there's always a game of chance. There's only so many people that are. Usually, people will actually just find the person, and they don't come up to me and say, "Is this person here?" What's your favorite part of your job in implementation? It sounds like that rapport.
Yeah, building the rapport. I don't get to see the same customer as frequent as I got to see them in support. But again, it's just mainly a phone call and support and one and done. But yeah, building that rapport in implementation, that's big for me. And then it's something new every week, sometimes every day. I'm coming up on my first full year, and it flew by. And just looking back and seeing not every project had the same components to it. They all had the same end goal, but every client has something that they need or something that they desire, and implementing those things and putting them into practice is sometimes a challenge.
Yeah. Is that something that was a surprise to you in any way, or just like having gone through those years in support, was it kind of clear that, every one of these is going to be different no matter?
Yeah, it definitely became clear. And I really enjoy that because you do get glimpses of that as a support agent, but you don't get to be in the trenches there with other departments and try to hash it out where that need becomes a reality.
Awesome. All right. Before we get into your non-professional life, I want to play a game with you. We'll call it Brian or Lyin. And if you agree with this statement or say it's true, say Brian. And if you disagree with it or it's a lie, then say Lyin, because Lyin.
Is there an in between?
Nope. It's a yes or no type deal. All right.
Okay.
We just accommodate it to your names. So Brian or Lyin, you cry when you watch movies.
Brian. Not all the time, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a particular genre that really like hits you and you're like, oh?
I don't know about genre, but there's only one that comes to mind, and that's August Rush.
Okay, what one's that? I haven't heard that.
August Rush, I forget the child actor's name, but at the end of the movie, he's an orphan, basically, a music prodigy that somehow makes it into Berkeley, and he basically grew up without his parents, right? Well, his parents somehow end up at the same concert. Should I spoil it? I mean, the movie's been out for, 15 years or so, I want to say.
Yeah, I feel like 15 years, you can't complain about it.
Is there a certain limit? Like, is it 5 years or 10
All right, spoilers are ahead.
Yes. Well, all that to say, orphan kid finds his parents, and just the music. American movies are so good at making you emotional with whatever music they're playing. That does it for me.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's weird because it works even though you're being manipulated with it. It's like,
exactly.
You got me even though I knew it was coming. All right, Brian or Lyin, you've cheated at a board game. Not like when you were a kid. I'm assuming that like you're
Did you
learning
get
what
these
rules are.
questions from other people?
No, this is a
Oh,
standard
okay.
one.
Okay. I'm gonna say Lyin. I've cheated at games, but not board games.
Like video games or
Like Uno.
oh, card games.
Yeah. Don't play
Okay.
Uno with me.
Okay, you're a very competitive Uno player.
No, I just like to cheat sometimes.
All right, I found my quote that I'm stealing out of this one. All right, Brian or Lyin, you've told an outrageous lie to a child.
Lyin. I don't think I have yet. I have
Okay.
a 15-month-old boy, so I feel like that's going to change at some point.
It sounds like you're looking forward to it.
Yes.
You're like, I just can't wait.
I can't wait to crush his spirit.
Oh no, you use the lies to keep up their
Yeah.
spirit. All right, Brian or Lyin, your favorite fast food fries are from McDonald's.
Brian.
Okay.
Very much. I think that was a big talking point in the lunch line today, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm using this to evaluate the statistics on like whether it is America's most preferred French fry, and so far, yeah.
Well, it's the Dr. Pepper as well. During side story during the pandemic, very limited staff in the office, and during my lunch break one day, Melanie Tarvey, she says something about how McDonald's Dr. Pepper is superior to all other Dr. Peppers, and I'm thinking, soda is soda. Like, it's gonna be the same from any restaurant you go to. So I took my lunch break to go to the 3 different fast food joints we have down the block: Wendy's, McDonald's. I can't remember, maybe Sonic or something like that.
I was going to say there's a Jack in the Box,
Yeah.
there's a Chick-fil-A, there's a bunch of them down there.
Well, I took the liberty of using my my COVID mask and using that as a blindfold and doing a taste test, and I had to concede it was superior.
Interesting. Yeah, I've also heard that McDonald's Coke is superior to other fountain Cokes, at least. I don't know about all Cokes, but yeah, interesting. You have an embarrassing... Oh, Brian or Lyin, you have an embarrassing nickname or a nickname that you hate.
Brian.
What is that
Do
nickname?
I
Yeah.
have to say?
Yeah. Unless Brian is actually just a nickname and you really hate being called Brian.
Yeah. Well, Lathan Andrews likes to say Brian. Like, I can't do it as well as he can, but it's the Family Guy, Stewie voice saying Brian, so that's pretty annoying. And then my wife, whenever I take her off, she likes to call me Felipe. There's that phrase, "Bye, Felicia."
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yes.
Shut up, Felipe.
Okay, I won't call you Felipe. Let's take a quick break before we get to your non-career related questions.
Okay.
Still, the quickest mouse pad in the old west.
Before we get into some of these other things, tell me about the time that you lost your ID on Bourbon Street. That does not seem like a good place to lose your ID.
No, I don't recommend it. But it was a lot of fun. It was actually my bachelor party trip.
Okay.
Before I came to work for Point of Rental. So I didn't even know I was going to be on Bourbon Street that morning.
Okay.
I drove down to my best man's place in Houston. I thought I was getting punked because he says, "Okay, let's go. We're going to go to an airport." So we go to the airport. I don't know what the name of it was, but Houston is big.
Yes.
We got to the airport, and we get there, and he says, "Oh, I got to the wrong airport." and the other airport is on the other side of Houston, which terrible traffic at that time of day, apparently. So we arrive with 30 minutes to spare before the flight boards. And that's when I find out, okay, we're going to New Orleans. Cool. We arrive in New Orleans and we meet one or two other guys at a bar and have a good time. And then we got to go back to the room to meet the rest of the crew. Well, while we're meeting up and regrouping, I think to myself, I don't need my wallet. Everyone's paying my tab tonight. So I just took my ID out, put it in my front pocket, and I can only assume that I put it in the same pocket that I put my phone in.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we walk out the door and get to the first venue, there's no ID in my pocket anymore. And so I'm just frantically Googling, what do I do to get back home without my ID, no passport, nothing.
I was going to say, that's a dangerous game, having your ID in the same pocket as your phone.
Yeah.
It's...
Like I said, I have a great support system. I have some good groomsmen, all really good friends, and they were able to make it a good weekend for me without my ID.
So you didn't find it at all?
I did not find it at all. I gave up within 20 minutes of losing it or realizing I lost it.
Yeah. So somewhere out there's a Brian Garcia, fake Brian Garcia.
Oh man,
in New Orleans.
Maybe he's a secret agent.
Yeah. Oh. Wait, maybe you're not Brian
maybe
Garcia.
I'm not Brian.
What is happening here?
The best part was flying back. So I did Googling and I.
Oh yeah, that seems like a problem.
It was I thought it was going to be a big problem. I was Googling, what's going to happen? What do I need to do? And from the looks of it, I thought I was going to have to fill out some kind of form upon arriving at the airport and then go into an interrogation room and answer a bunch of questions. The reality was I showed up to the airport. The first person I saw, I told them, I lost my ID. What, do you have a form I need to fill out? What room do I go to? And within 5 minutes, this young lady with dreadlocks and face tattoos wearing a very official TSA outfit just comes marching out and asks me, where do you go to school? Where do you work? What do you do?
Yeah.
Show me your Facebook. Okay, you're good to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, I feel in New Orleans they're like, yeah, this happens all the time.
Well, I feel like anyone with face tattoos is just very understanding too.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, I was hoping that there was going to be like a whole like hangover type situation thing going on there, but that was good enough. Unless there was like a situation where you did end up at Mike Tyson's house, or no?
Oh, I wish. That would have been awesome.
Oh, darn. Okay, well, you do seem to be from the Dallas-Fort Worth area in general. Why, when, where, how? All of the questions about how you learn to ski, because I've driven around here. There's no place to ski.
No, there's not. I wish there was. No, I have some good friends that they grew up skiing, and so I took my first trip back in 2017 to New Mexico, and I was able to learn to ski within 2 days. We were there for 3 days, so I kind of picked it up the first day. Second day, I got more confidence, and third day, I was going down those blues.
All right.
And been to Breckenridge, and I'm hoping to make it a yearly thing for my boy growing up. So we'll see.
So this is something that you got hooked whenever, like, initially, like immediately, you were like, oh, this is my jam.
Yeah, I love it. I wish I could do it all the time.
Well, I heard it can become an all-encompassing thing, and it's like, well, maybe it's better that you are a little away from it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be renting a lot of gear. I think if we do that on a yearly basis, maybe I have a client out there that rents it out.
Maybe you can work and go implement them, and then
get that discount.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I will happily help you troubleshoot your any software
Well,
issues.
I don't know about that. My services are still steep.
Okay, well, when I look at your work history, your volunteer history, your degree, and even just in our pre-podcast chat, it's clear that you're doing a lot of serving others. The thing that really stood out to me whenever you were bringing up your previous stuff was volunteering as an interpreter on the Mexican border. So, first of all, just so people from other countries are aware, Texas, really big. Dallas-Fort Worth area, nowhere close to the border.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get involved in that for the beginning?
Yeah, well, actually, when I was working for that home health company, my mentor, that was one of the admins over there, uh, it was mainly his project, his mission, so to speak, just building relationships down there and laying the groundwork for a home building, uh, I guess, charity, so to
Yeah.
speak, for the locals down there. And I was still a teenager at that time, and uh, fluent in Spanish enough where I could help out. And again, I had that margin in life where sometimes it was every 2 weeks we'd go down, or once a month or every other month. It just kind of depend depended on the time or the season. Um, and it was a lot of fun. Just getting to know. Yeah, yeah, it is maybe like a 6 to 8 hour drive depending what route you take. But it's a whole nother world down there, and uh, for my mentor at the time, it was perfect for him because his life was very demanding. But being down there, no one demanded anything of him. He was there, of his own free will to serve as best he could, and I was there to assist as best I could too.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you're a teenager at this time. Is this when you're like in high school, when you're first going to college, or what?
When I was first going to college, I was about 18, so I did
Okay.
that from 18 to I think about 21.
Okay. And this is all the time that you're at that one company, or did you keep going with him even after you like moved on to the other
While I was
companies?
at that company.
Okay, cool. Um, so what exactly are you like translating in this whole mentorship situation?
So he was building a rapport with some of the locals there,
Yeah.
specifically a ministry, and I was there to interpret every conversation. And it was a good thing I was young because I don't know that I could handle that load now. It was very exhausting, even at that young age. Every single conversation from waking up to going to sleep, uh, he needed to know everything that was being said. As time
Okay,
progressed,
so
he
he didn't even speak
he
Spanish,
did not
and
speak
okay,
Spanish, so that's why I was there. But as time progressed, he started to understand it more. But relaying it back, was still needed.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely one of those things where I'm working on like picking up languages, and it's like I can do a fair amount of understanding, but it's going to take so long to just say
Yeah.
say the words back, and I'm going to get it wrong, and it's like it'd be so much easier just to have someone that knows what the heck they're saying.
Yeah.
Can you share a story or two that's kind of stuck with you from like that era?
I would say so. The sermons we had a pastor from Africa join us on one of those trips one time, and we went to about two or three different churches and did sermons, and I interpreted those sermons from English to Spanish. Uh, that was um, to me that elevated my faith at the time, and not just that, but also the the commutes. We never flew from DFW down. We always drove from DFW down, and like I said, it's anywhere from a 6 to 8 hour drive, depending on which route you take. And when it's just guys, you talk about almost anything and everything,
Yeah.
and really build a level of trust and learn a lot about yourself from someone else's perspective, who's not scared to tell you the truth. I think that was a big thing that shaped me.
Nice. Okay, so well, I guess that kind of answers the next one, which was how that experience impacted you to the point where you mention it as a fun fact here in 2024 because it's several years later.
Hmm.
But yeah, I can see that. Is that type of community something? Is that type of community service still something that's important to you now, or is it something where you, as you've accumulated other responsibilities, you mentioned you have a kid, a wife, they probably don't want you going, you probably don't want to head down every other weekend.
Yeah.
Um, it just you don't have time for it, or you have other things.
Yeah, there's definitely not a whole lot of time for it now. And I would love to get back to something like that at some point. I'm not for me, whenever an opportunity presents itself, I try to dive in as best as I can, if the responsibilities allow. But yeah, I'm learning that for the past several years now is other things got to come first, and I think when the time is right, I can get into something like that again.
Okay. So yeah, you're basically, it seems like for the first several years of life, you're picking up all these certificates, all these like,
Mhm.
maybe I want to go down this avenue. Now maybe it seems like you're like, all right, I'm in a good spot. Maybe I don't need to get all these other, I can stop branching out and I
Yeah.
can just move forward this one.
Exactly.
Okay. What's something that people misunderstand about you?
Mm. Oh man, I didn't have this one prepared. Something that I'm misunderstood for.
Yeah, has anyone ever like circled back to you like after a year or something about like, you know what? Actually, like at the beginning, I thought you would be this one way, but it turns out that you're actually
Yeah, I guess people take me to be very introverted sometimes, or extroverted, depending on the situation
depending
or
whenever they
scenario.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I think I can be very much of both, depending on the day or the situation. And I do love uh, making connections and building relationships, colleagues, friends. But then I love my alone time as well. It drives my wife crazy that sometimes I can go to the movie theater and watch something by myself.
Yeah, it is tough like when you're into that introversion stuff and it's like you come back from work and it's like, oh, it's time to hang out with you. It's like, but I need to
Yeah,
like
exactly.
go by myself. Do you have any questions for me? I get to ask lots of you, but you only get one.
Ooh, when are we gonna have something like a Battle of the Bryans?
Again, stop trying to sow
Oh.
division within the Bryans. The Bryans are a united block against everyone else.
Have we ever had all the Bryans in one room other than
Ooh.
not even for a Christmas party? I would
Probably
think.
not, because there's the one in Africa. So
That's
we can
true.
never bring, well, at some point, whenever Brian Holden is over here,
Yes,
all the Bryans will have to unite
let's
and we'll have
do
to
it.
do something. We don't have to battle each other, all right? Let's not make this angry. Okay, now we're going to do a top 5 list. I need you to give me a top 5 list. In a segment we'll call Gimme 5. I have a few suggestions for you. Do you have a top 5 list planned already?
I think I think I can come up with it. I tried to beforehand, but I don't
Okay.
have them solid yet.
All right. What's the category of your top 5 list?
Well, I was gonna consider the support calls.
Okay, the
Support calls.
top 5 favorite calls to get in support.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and just remember with the top 5 list, you got to count down from 5 to 1. Okay,
Okay.
so we're gonna start with your number 5 favorite call to get in support.
Okay. I would say number 5, how to read the general ledger. Or where are these numbers coming from? Number 4.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Why do you like that call?
Why do I like that
Yeah.
call? I guess I'm sure there's a name for it, like when you like punishment.
You're a masochist?
Yeah, there you go. I can never get the two straight. I like the again the research part of it. It's like, oh, I'm not an accountant, but I know how to figure things out. Let's go through this together. So,
But I did
That's a
stay
good
at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so.
yeah.
All right, your number 4 favorite.
Number 4 favorite.
Sorry, number 4. I left my thumb out.
Okay. Number 4 is gonna be where to find certain reports.
Why do you like that one?
It's super easy,
Okay.
especially with our new product, Elite. Now, I guess it's not new, but
I do like when people call with a question that like I can answer immediately. It's like, yes,
Mhm.
that's the best. All right, what's your number 3 favorite call to get?
how to add a store location. It's super easy too. It was not as easy.
And it's positive news for whoever else because it's like, hey, congratulations, you got a new location. That's great.
Exactly. It's not as easy with Expert, but it was always something that I knew right off the top of my head. I can help you out within 2 minutes. Let's do it.
All right,
With Elite, even quicker.
perfect. Your number 2 top call to get.
Number 2, how to undo an account payment.
Why?
Because it's complex enough where it seems like you're really smart when you figure it out.
Those are also the best,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things I think you're probably learning it as a parent. There's some tasks that it's like you get a little more credit for it, even though it's not actually that hard, and you're like, yeah, I'll take that one.
Yeah, if you just take the extra level of effort to understand how you got into this predicament, uh, it gets easier and easier the more times you screw up to undo it.
Nice. Okay, what's the number one favorite call that you get in support?
Do you rent cars? No, we're a software company.
All right. I mean, that's alarming that you're getting that type of
Well,
call.
that doesn't happen as often anymore. But
All right. All right. Now we're going to try another thing called first pitch, where you're going to pitch me on your rental business. You have a month to set up a rental business. Just knowing what you know already, basically, what would you rent?
so I would like to get into the tool rental business. That's the more realistic side of it. But if it were possible, I would love to get in the niche where I'm renting out gear for families on vacation. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, coolers, folding chairs. It can be for events, it can be for the beach, something of that nature. But it would be quality products.
Okay, so you're going to be more of a beach type of vacation rental type
Yeah.
stuff. Okay,
I can take lunch on the beach.
I can see that. That it does seem like an appealing place to be. All right, well, let's get into the 5 important questions after this break.
5 important questions. 5 important questions? 5 important questions.
All right, let's start with the 5 important questions. So, number 1, what would you say is your greatest success in life?
Starting my family. I feel like I got a late start, but it's on its way.
All right, well, good. That's a very, stereotypical answer. I won't hold that against you. Number 2, what is your greatest fear?
Drowning.
I'm concerned for your beach-related rentals, but
I
I guess
said
you're
the
not
beach.
going
I
too
didn't say
far.
anything about getting in the deep end.
It's like, well, I'm not going in the ocean. I'm staying on the beach. Okay, that's fair. If you could tell first day at Point of Rental Brian one piece of advice, what would you tell him? Just to be clear, first day at Point of Rental Brian Garcia, not Brian.
Oh,
Bachelor.
right. Oh, okay. I had 6 different answers already ready. No, I would tell him just keep doing what you're doing. You're ready.
Okay. Do you think this future self telling you this would make you become an implementation specialist a year earlier?
No.
I don't listen to that Brian guy. Okay, what's your most embarrassing moment as a pointer?
I don't remember the specifics, but I definitely screwed something up that had to do with auto continuation. I don't know if you know what that is, but it involves a lot of contracts that automatically get created. And so I had to undo a lot of things. And yeah, I got pulled out of the queue.
Yeah. You're done for a while.
Yeah, I was done for that day.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll send our apologies to whoever that affected. And but you are getting sentenced to death, because that's now not only does it get you kicked out of the queue, but you kicked out of life, like, permanently.
Yeah.
So you're on death row. You get a last meal. What is your last meal?
One of those tomahawk steaks.
Okay, you're going big.
Yeah, because I have to finish it, right? So it's going to take a while for me to.
I don't know if you.
Finish it.
I don't know the rules on that one.
I think I have to finish it before.
You have 5 minutes to eat as much as you can. All right. Are you having any beverages or desserts with this tomahawk steak?
No, I think that's going to be it.
All right. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
My height.
Okay. What height would you want to be?
I'd say at least 6 foot. You're 6 foot, right?
I'm 6'3".
You're 6'3", so we'd be even more identical at that point.
All right. I was gonna say, being taller it's not as good for, like, airplanes, or you always get asked at the store, like, can you reach this on the top shelf? It's like, you know what?
You're right.
No.
I do feel a lot more comfortable anywhere I go. Do you experience some uncomfortableness from your height sometimes?
Occasionally at mine, it's not too bad. I kind of like stopped before I got into the issues. Like my dad is 6'7" and my cousins are like 6'8", so I'm like the short one.
Okay.
But it's like they're always hunching anytime they have to go into a door. It's like that seems
How
like a
often
real
do you
pain.
sit in the back seat of a vehicle?
I'm generally fine in most vehicles' back seats. I fit in the back of a Mustang,
Okay.
but it's not real comfortable. It's like as long as we're driving just across town, yeah, okay.
Well, you command a lot of presence, so that's why I say I'd rather be taller.
Okay, well, thank you. If you could change one thing at point of rental, what would it be?
HQ would be closer to where I live,
That seems inconvenient for everyone else, but okay.
but it's convenient for me.
That's what's important, really. What is your biggest pet peeve?
When people describe an issue with very little detail.
And they just expect you to know.
Yeah.
I could see that being quite a problem. Or when they don't actually know it. It's broken.
Maybe
fix
that's what it is.
Yeah, it makes your research harder, I think.
Yeah,
I like research, but I like to know
it's
what
a little
I'm
bit
looking
more
for.
time consuming. I like that what's it called? Instant gratification.
Yes. I could tell based on your top 5 list. What, the one I can answer no to?
Yeah,
You go away.
exactly.
All right. Tell me a secret about point of rental.
I don't think there's a lot of secrets at Point of Rental.
You got to have some secrets. You've been on the opposite side of the building, and you've been doing this remote stuff, and I don't know a whole ton of what goes on in
Maybe
support.
the secret is there are no secrets at Point of Rental.
I think you're trying to like mind trick me here. I don't think that counts as a thing. Maybe you're a secret agent thing.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't have asked, but all right. All right. Well, thank you, Brian, for chatting today.
Thank you.
And thank you also to Andrew Sherrington and Daria Tucker out there for the, production, some behind the scenes. And to everyone who made it to this point with us, thank you for watching today. Rate, subscribe, review, share us with a friend. Help me keep talking to my fellow Brians. And we'll keep the porch light burning for you.